What you know about love? Tell me what you know about what you know about love? What you know about love? What you know about love?
Welcome back to the channel, Struggle Streaming with BK. In today's video, I'm gonna tell y'all how ESPN totally holds Florida State, and I'm gonna tell you why I got beef with ESPN, y'all. And that video is coming up next after the intro. I'll see y'all in about 10 seconds, all right? All right, let's get it. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. How y'all doing? Struggle Streaming with BK, right? We about to get this video started, but this video gonna be 3 parts, y'all. All right, right? It's gonna be my rant, my tribute, Florida State, and then we're gonna get into the meat of the video. All right. Before I start, right? Y'all know what time it is. It's time for me to beg. So, can you hook a brother up with a like and a subscribe? Trying to grow the channel, and this helps me grow the channel, right? And the only way I could do that is if you push that little like and that subscribe button. It helps a brother out a lot, okay? And share it in all your little college football groups. Hook a brother up. But I'm gonna wait 5 seconds. Y'all ready? Let's go. We got 5. All right, I hope you hit that subscribe button. Anyway, all right. Let's get it cracking. First off, a disclaimer, uck you ESPN, all right? Uck you ESPN. Like I'm saying uck, all right? This is PG-13. But uck you ESPN, all right? It is now Wednesday evening. I originally recorded this video Sunday. It got copyrighted strike, I guess, by ESPN because I was using their announcers to prove my point. I took out some of the video and tried to talk over the audio. It got copyrighted strike again. It got copyrighted again, dinged again on Monday. I tried to do it again Monday evening and did it again. I found out yesterday it's still copyrighted again. So I just deleted the original and I'm just going to do this one right here. Uck it. Uck you ESPN. Alright? Okay, y'all mad? Y'all mad because y'all ucking people over for money. But anyway, that's my rant against ESPN, y'all. I got back from the West Coast. I had the red eye Saturday night, so I got back, slept all Sunday, woke up to do this video after I found out what happened as far as like the playoffs and how they hold Florida State over. So, since Florida State got a hosed over, let me give you my tribute to Florida State right now. All right, here we go. Oh, wait. We need to like. All right, y'all. I tried to get as close to Florida State colors as I could with my little lighting scheme, okay? Oh, Florida State. All right? People know I'm a Michigan fan. And people who close to me know that Florida State is my second favorite college football team. I go back to when Deion Sanders played there, Terrell Buckley. You know, growing up, I wanted to be a corner when I was younger. So I loved it, the Florida State chant, and I loved their colors. So, right, I've always had a like, and Florida State has always been my second team, right? And I just want to tell the fellas, y'all did a hell of a job this year, right? Don't be mad. Don't be discouraged. I know you got hosed. I know you got jobbed, right? But just remember one thing, all right? Y'all did y'all thing. 13-0. That's something to be proud of. Y'all got hosed because of money. Nothing else. It ain't got nothing to do with the with Travis breaking his leg or anything like that. That's just an ESPN excuse they made up so they could host Florida State. That's all it is. Money. Money is the reason you got hosed. Okay? But to all the athletes on the Florida State football team, you did a hell of a job this year, right? And I'm proud of y'all, right? Good job, fellas. Now, to the meat of this video, and hopefully I don't get copyrighted this time. I'm not going to use no ESPN footage, just strictly my mouth. All right, let's go.
Without a shadow of a doubt, if Florida State ends this season undefeated, Florida State ought to be in that playoff. I don't care if I'm starting for him at quarterback. I detest the concept of a committee of people gathering together and deciding they know for sure the value of a football player and how he benefits your team, and without him, what your team is. I can't stand that. Ever since that stuff happened in 2014 with Ohio State, where they are down not their top quarterback, but also their backup quarterback, and a third stringer leads them to a national championship. Ever since we all saw that, everything that you think you know is irrelevant because no one thought they knew that.
All right, y'all, I'm back. That's my little tribute to Florida State for doing a hell of a job this season. Now, let's get to the whole gist of the situation. Like I said, I got back from the West Coast, had the red eye flight, so I fell asleep. I missed the actual college football selection show. I watched it later. I wake up to a couple texts and stuff in the group chat with the homies, and they talking about, oh, Alabama in the playoffs. How? Right? How? How? Now, I knew that nothing is above ESPN's BS, but the finagling that they did, right, was some bull jump, all right? And the reason they did it is money, all right? The reason they hold Florida State out of a spot in the college football playoffs is money, okay? Now, when reportedly from Bleacher Report, okay, maybe I could throw up the picture. I won't have no audio. I don't want no problems from ESPN. But but according to Bleacher Report, like, because the college football selection committee took Alabama instead of Florida State, ESPN is going to save. ESPN would have lost $150 million in ad revenue if they would have took Florida State in Alabama instead of Alabama. Putting Alabama in there kept their sponsors, and y'all know ESPN has allegiance with the Southeast Conference, all right, with the SEC. Okay, they're partners, so they didn't want, as far as like the Southern advertisements and what they was charging down there, they would have lost all of that if it wasn't an SEC team in there. Now, before we get more into the money, the nobody in the playoff committee thought that Georgia was going to lose, right? If Georgia would have beat Alabama, the playoffs would have been 1 Georgia, 2 Michigan, 3 Washington, and 4 Florida State. That's exactly how it would have went. That's exactly how it would have went. Okay, but once ESPN's partner, the SEC champion, lost, they had a real freaking problem. And the problem is, you had Michigan undefeated, they was getting in. Washington and Oregon basically had a playoff spot. They was getting in. That's 2 spots right there. Okay, now you got undefeated Florida State as well. They would have had to slide in at 3. Then 4 would have went to Texas. But Texas beat Alabama earlier in the year. And because Texas beat Alabama earlier in the year, they won the head-to-head. They both conference champions. They both got the same record. They couldn't have put Alabama in over Texas. They couldn't have. Now, it ain't above them, but you got to realize Texas is the most profitable college football school in the country. All right? A lot of people think SEC, because that's what ESPN markets to people, and most people are stupid. But the ESPN, if you look at like the SEC schools, they don't make a lot of money. Like as a group, yeah, with ESPN, yeah, but far as like other schools, no. The top earning school in the country is Texas, that oil money. Number 2 is Texas A&M, oil money. 3 is Michigan, 4 is Ohio State. So I still don't consider Texas A&M as like a SEC school. You know, that's a Texas school with Texas oil money. But the big brands that the SEC use, LSU, Alabama, and who am I kidding? LSU, Alabama, Georgia, right? They're not big time money money earners. They're not. As a group, ESPN sells it. They sell this narrative that the SEC is superior, the SEC football, it just means different, it just means more, and all that bullshit. Okay? All that is bullshit marketing, right? But ESPN is the worldwide leader in sports, so it's constantly shoved down people's throat, and people believe it. That's why when you see people trying to defend this bullshit selection committee, they use the same talking points that ESPN used. Also in that Bleacher Report story, 80% of the coverage after the Georgia loss in the SEC title game, 80% of it was from their correspondents, their anchormen, their TV talking heads, talking about how Alabama deserves to get in over Florida State. Okay? And I'm going to tell you why that's a crock of junk. Then I'll get back to the money. If Florida State quarterback was a problem, did he broke his leg? If it was a problem that Travis broke his leg, why was Florida State still ranked in the top 4 after he broke his leg? He broke his leg a month ago. Florida State played 3 games after he broke his leg. Well, including when he broke his leg. Three, basically 4 weeks ago, he broke his leg. Okay? But they still were ranked in the top 4. They were ranked in the top 3. Right? They had passed Washington. They had passed Washington. But they were at 3, then they dropped to 4. But they still were in the top 4. Right? All this time. So why were they in the top 4? If it was a problem with him breaking his leg, why didn't Ben drop them back to 7, 8, 9, 10, 11? All right? Right? Because they thought Georgia was going to win. So they was just going to throw Florida State in there because they thought that would be an easy mark. They thought that would be an easy mark for Georgia to get them through to the championship game. All right? That was the plan all along with ESPN. And what y'all got to understand out there, and I know a lot of people talking about this is the death of college football, and this can't be happening, and how it's such a travesty, and it is a travesty. It's fucked up, but college football died a long time ago, y'all. All right? College football is about each of us and our relation to our schools, the schools that we like, and the teams that we like. Okay? College football was never designed to have a national champion. It's not. This is some new age over the last 15, 20 years. Right? I'm an old man. I'm 45, y'all. But this is new. All this crown of champion, college football been around over 100 plus years. And it's never been about crowning a national champion. College football is a regional sport. It's not a national sport. They're trying to turn it into one. And it's still not. Because you still got people, SEC. You got Big Ten. You got Pac. Nobody gives us any respect in the Pac-12. All right? It's still a regional sport. Right? But ESPN has to have a championship for everything. So they can have something to talk about. All this debatism and all. Like, that's why I don't really mess with ESPN anymore. Once again, cue ESPN, right, for copyrighting my video 3 times. Cue ESPN. Hey, y'all, I got to be with ESPN for real. But back to it. So college football is a regional sport. It's still a regional sport. Even though they're trying to nationalize it and call it a national champion, things like that. It was always called the mythical national champion. Because it was. Right? And it still is. This playoff is not a playoff. It's an invitational. Once again, this playoff is not a playoff. It's invitational. Okay? You get invited to come play. Right? And there's never been transparency. You can go all the way back to the first one in 2014 when Baylor was somehow number 3, won their last game, and somehow fell out of the top 4. Same thing just happened to Florida State, except they was 4th and dropped to 5th. Alabama jumped up from 8th all the way up to 4th with a win over Georgia, which is some bullshit. Okay? And let me explain to you why it's some bullshit. Okay? Okay? They left Florida State as number 5, right? And they had Georgia as number 6. If y'all think that Florida State don't deserve to get in because of their quarterback breaking his leg, why are they ranked 5th? Right? The excuse is they're not the same team. So who will be favored on the field? Them or Georgia? Georgia. So why are they 5th in front of Georgia? Who will be favored on the field? Them or Oregon? Oregon. Who will be favored on the field? Them or Ohio State? Ohio State. Without Jordan Travis? Yes, but that's not the point of it. The point, and then all of a sudden it's about the best 4 teams. It ain't never been about the best 4 teams. It's been about the best deserving teams. It ain't even been about the best deserving teams, okay? It's been about however they could finagle the playoff in order for the SEC to look good. Once again, however they could finagle the playoff so the SEC can look good. You'll prove you wrong? Let's go back 2 years ago in 2021. They let Cincinnati in the playoffs. Y'all know Cincinnati was undefeated, right? Right? Georgia lost to Alabama in the playoff, and they only dropped 2 spots to number 3 so they could play Michigan. Why they didn't drop all the way out the playoffs like this time? Right? They wasn't a conference champion. At the very minimum, they should have dropped the 4 and had a rematch with Alabama. But did that happen? No, because they didn't want it to happen. They didn't want it to happen at all. All right? They do whatever y'all got to understand. Like, the Danny Cannells, and I know Danny probably ain't gonna see this, but the Danny Cannells, the Florida State Seminole fan base, all the podcasters on YouTube, y'all got to understand, it's about money. It's about money. And ESPN and the SEC are partners. They are going to look out for each other, right? It's basically a SEC invitational. That's all the playoff is. It's not about the best teams. It's not about the matchups or any of that crap. They're talking about all the blow up. Oh, TCU got blew out last year. That's why Florida State. What do TCU have to do with Florida State? Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Okay? And also, TCU beat my team. They beat Michigan. That's how they were able to get to the championship game. So just forget the fact that TCU beat Michigan, right? Right? That don't matter. Just the fact that they got blew out in the championship game. Maybe because they put all into beating Michigan. It happens. Blowouts happen every week in college football. Right? And then they talk about, well, another excuse they use, who will be favorite? Who will be favorite? Who cares who will be favorite? It's not about who will be favorite. Who deserved to get in? Who won all their games? Right? Who won all their games? Who would be favorite? Well, Oregon was a 10-point favorite over Washington in the Pac-12 title game. And you know who I had on the money line? Washington, because I knew better. And I'm not saying, yeah, I am saying, I know better than most of them ESPN talking heads. Okay? And thank you, Washington, for coming through on the money line and making me that money. All right? So, thanks for the parlay. Hey, anyway, parlay was good for me. All right? Bills is paid. But anyway. But good job. I'll still be all right talking about that. But if it was about who Vegas would have favorite, they could have just threw Oregon in there because Oregon was a 10-point favorite over Washington. Right? Right? All the pundits picked Ohio State to beat Michigan. What happened? Georgia was a 6.5-point favorite over Alabama. Did they win? No. So a point spread in Vegas ain't got shit to do with shit. Nothing. Okay? Florida State beat Louisville 16-6. Okay? There was only a 1-point favorite. So was Vegas right? No. Right? Vegas ain't always right. And y'all got to understand, point spreads are about getting people to place a bet. It ain't got nothing to do with who gonna necessarily win. That's not what it's about. It's about getting even money so Vegas automatically walk away with 20% of the take. That's what betting is about. It ain't got nothing to do about who they think gonna win and who gonna win, who gonna lose. Nothing at all. I mean, kinda, but not really. Not really. Okay. What else I want to talk about? Po FSU. Like that hurted my. I didn't think they would have the balls to do that, but they couldn't put Alabama over in. They couldn't put Alabama in over Texas. So somebody had to be sacrificed, and they wasn't gonna sacrifice Michigan, and they wanted to sacrifice Washington, but Washington came through in the clutch, and after they beat Oregon, ESPN's team they was blowing up all year round. Talking heads don't know nothing. But anyway, blowing up Oregon all year. Washington beat them again. Okay, Washington was up kicking that ass too. But Washington beat them again. They had to keep them. Okay, if ESPN had that way, it would have been Oregon. It would have been Michigan. It would have been Georgia. Okay, and they still probably would have tried to sneak Alabama in there. If Oregon would have won, I guarantee you, they would have probably snuck Georgia in there. But they couldn't over undefeated Washington. But they probably would have snuck Georgia in there, right? They would have tried to get two of them. Texas probably, I don't know. Maybe they would have put Texas in. But anyway, Florida State, you had a hell of a season. I'm sick of all the talking heads on ESPN, Joey Galloway. And the only dude who kept it real was Booger McFarland. Booger McFarland, this is a travesty. Like, none of that stuff matters. This is a travesty. The rest of ESPN talking heads, they sent out the email. They sent out the memo. I want y'all to go watch the replay of the college football show. Okay? Now, keep in mind, they tell everybody nobody knows the results until they are announced and shown to everybody. This is not true. Go back and look at Kirk Herbstreit before the announcement when they started the show. He got the 4 helmets right in back of him of the 4 teams in the playoffs. He got Michigan, Alabama, he got Texas, and he got Washington. He do not have Georgia. He do not have maybe I'll find a picture of it and I'll put it up here. But Kirk has the 4 teams sitting up behind him. Also, what do I always tell y'all in my boxing videos? Follow the money. The money will tell you who's going to win a fight. All right? I'm talking about Devin Haney and Pro Grace probably tomorrow. But follow the money. The money will tell you exactly who's going to win. Before Alabama beat Georgia, they was like a +3 something to get into the playoffs. After they beat Georgia, they was still like a +190, then they dropped to 180 the day of. Like 20 minutes before the announcement, it dropped all the way down to even money, which is a -110. Why? If nobody knows what the announcement is, how could Vegas drop the line all the way down to -110 that Alabama go get in? Because they know. Right? They know. Okay? It wasn't decided in a room the morning of or anything like that. It was put out the night before. ESPN was on TV pushing their agenda for their SEC team, which happened to be Alabama this year. Right? Pushing the agenda that Alabama should get in. And Alabama honestly don't, and it's going to hurt Q feeling. You be all right, Q. Alabama don't deserve to be in this invitational. They just don't. Right? They had their chance. They lost to Texas. One more thing I want to stop on. They talking about how Florida State looked. Did they win their games by double digits? Yeah. Did they beat Florida? Yeah. If a team wins with a third-string quarterback, that doesn't show me that they not a good team. That shows me that they a great team. That they can win without their quarterback. That they can win without their second-string quarterback. They won with their third-string quarterback. That shows me how good of an overall team you have. But once again, it's about money. It's about marketing. Right? It's about money. It's about marketing. Right? Okay? And ESPN will make more money through their sponsors, their corporate sponsors and advertisements by having an SEC team in there. And I know my fellow Florida State fans think that Florida State is a big brand. Yet, they're a big brand for the ACC, right? But they're not a big brand around the country, right? This ain't the 90s. This ain't Bobby Bowden. Florida State is not that deal. They just not, right? And I love Florida State. I root for Florida State. Except if they play in Michigan. But I root for Florida State all the time. But they're not a big brand. It's not branded like that. None of the ACC, not even Clemson. None of the ACC brands is. Okay? Because they are not marketed like that. They're just not. That's a part of the game. Okay? ESPN was not about to lose no $150 million. It's as simple as that. ESPN was not about to lose no $157 million. Okay? So they did what they had to do to put the team that they needed to be in there. Okay? Once again, it is not a playoff. It is an invitational. Okay? Hey, Q. When Michigan beat Alabama, you cutting their head, though. But this video is about Florida State. Shout out to Florida State. Shout out to Florida State fans. Shout out to the Danny Cannells. Shout out to the RG3. Shout out to the Booger McFarland. Shout out to everybody who kept it real and was honest. Okay? Shout out to the Cover 3 podcast. They was honest. And I know Bud and Chip, they ACC guys, but Danny too. But shout out to the Cover 3 podcast for keeping it real. Okay? But all these ESPN talking heads and, oh, I feel so sorry for the Florida State Seminoles team. No, the fuck you don't. No, the fuck you don't. All right? Because y'all the ones pushing the narrative and the agenda that they didn't deserve to get in when they did. All right? Anyway, that's all I got for y'all. I'm done with my rant. It's getting too long. This video like 20 minutes long. Struggle streaming with BK. Hook a brother up with a like and a subscribe. Right? Check me out for more content. We talk sports. We talk boxing. We talk fragrances. We talk everything. Social issues going on in the black community. We talk everything on this channel. All right? That's all I got for y'all. Be looking out for my Regis Prograde versus David Haney preview. That's coming up next. I did it earlier today. I'm going to do some editing and probably drop that tomorrow evening. That's all I got for y'all. I'm out. Peace.
What you know about love? What you know about love? What you know about love? That you know. Hella dizzy from the ups and the downs and the rounds and rounds.